Hello and welcome back to the second Arrow April. I am super excited to do this video for you guys because today we're going to be talking about a little theory of mine. This is in regards to season 3 of Arrow, so go watch that before you watch this. Go on, I'll be waiting. Watch it? Good. Now back on topic. This is going to be about Oliver's death in the mid-season finale and how he survived, or how I think he survived. First though, I know this isn't a perfect theory, and there are probably lots of problems, but this is the most solid theory I've ever made, so here we go. The League of Assassins is a league of, you guessed it, assassins. Real innovative name, guys. The League has been around for ages and has become one of the most deadly forces on the planet. They've been assassinating people for years and have become known as people you just don't want to mess with. One day, a man named, I don't really know. They never say, we're just gonna call him Ron. Ron was recruited to join the League, and eventually rose to the top, where he became the next Ra's al Ghul. Yes, I pronounce it Raz, not Rage. Anyways, Raz is not a person, he's just a title, and is the head of the League, as well as one of the best fighters, if not the best, ever seen. The Lazarus Pit has regenerative powers, and can not only heal those dead or living, but can make you live for a long time. It's not clear whether it's forever or not. I think it changes from version to version, but in the Arrowverse, it's only for a limited time. Now that we've got the backstory out of the way, let's talk about what Team Arrow are up to. Sarah comes back to Starling City to check up on Team Arrow. She's back for an episode, and then it cuts to her saying goodbye to Laurel because she's leaving again. Little does she know, that'll be a permanent relocation. Laurel leaves, and Sarah starts to leave 30 seconds later when she sees someone that makes her say, "What are you doing here?" Only to get shot 3 times in the chest. She is then hit off the roof onto a dumpster where Laurel finds her dead body. The first half is about finding out who the killer was, and that was pretty nice because it was kind of a change of pace. I mean, Arrow doesn't have a lot of mysteries, so it was nice to see one. The team is visited by Nyssa al Ghul, daughter of Ra's al Ghul. She states that Malcolm Merlyn, the villain of season 1, and also he takes the role of that guy. You know, that guy that thinks he's the best but actually isn't? Yeah, that's him. Anyways, she says that he's the guy that killed Sarah, and here's why she cares. Backstory time. Yay! By the way, if you already know this, you can see up to this time and continue the story. If not, back when Oliver was stranded on the island, he was dating Laurel. But because he was a jerk back then, when he went on his father's boat, he didn't take Laurel. Instead, he took Sarah, her sister. Yeah, he was dating both of them at the same time when the boat sunk, and he assumed Sarah had drowned, not that he cared. Turns out Sarah had not in fact died, and while Oliver was training with Slade, Sarah was training with the League of Assassins. She was saved and recruited by Nyssa, where she was really the only one that cared about Sarah. Anyways. Okay, back to the story. Oliver believes Malcolm's word that he did not kill Sarah, and when the League begins hunting him down, Oliver says that he will personally protect him. Of course, he actually protected them because he's Thea's father. Thea being Oliver's sister, and he didn't want them to kill her father. He successfully protects Malcolm against the League, but by doing this, he makes himself an enemy of the League. This begins his war with the League, but they kinda disappear for a while. Felicity, Oliver's tech person, has Star Labs run a test on one of the arrows fired into Sarah. The test comes back, and it turns out 9 out of 10 genetic markers match Oliver's. After this, he becomes increasingly suspicious that maybe Malcolm did kill Sarah. He has Felicity check if Malcolm visited Starling around the time of Sarah's death. When he finds out Malcolm was there, he has Malcolm come by for a little visit. Once Malcolm shows up, he shows Oliver a video of Thea killing Sarah. He used some magic plant because the Arrow Riders love foliage. Yeah, I don't know. The League shows up again, and they tell Oliver that they are tired of waiting, and Oliver has 24 hours to find the killer and turn them over. After an episode of going back and forth, Oliver is faced with one decision. You see, Malcolm set it up that if he was turned over to the League, the video of Thea would be sent to the League, and they would go after her. Oliver obviously can't let this happen, so he turns himself over to them. By League law, he is allowed to fight Ra's for freedom. If he wins, the crime is forgiven, but if he dies, well, he's dead. Alright, we finally made it to the start of the theory. Oliver climbs to the top of the mountain where he is allowed to choose a weapon out of about 10 or so. He chooses 2 swords. Raz then says, "You know, I killed my first man with that blade," or something like that. He and Oliver duel, he takes the swords from Oliver and kills him with it. He then tumbles off the mountain to his presumed death. Now the theory. Well, we have to start with the biggest problem with the theory and the thing that makes this not a perfect theory. But first, one quick thing. A prophecy! Because everything that deals with people living for centuries deals with prophecies. So, the prophecy goes like this. The man who doesn't perish at the blade of Ra's al Ghul will become the next Ra's al Ghul. Okay, so Roz later on in the season is sent a gift from Thea, which is Malcolm. Yeah, she wasn't so happy about being drugged, so she sent Malcolm away to, well, be killed. Roz then tortures Malcolm with his blade, and that's why Malcolm at the end of the season became Roz. Anyways, Roz hated Malcolm, so he would have done anything to stop him from becoming Roz, including keeping Oliver alive. Yep, that's right, Oliver was kept alive because Roz wanted him to be. Okay, let's rewind and see how he did this. Remember the Lazarus pit? Well, that's how he did it. Roz knew that Oliver would never kill the one he loved. I mean, he's not stupid. He also knew that eventually Malcolm would end up at his doorstep, one way or another. He would then be tortured by Roz. He would use his blade, and if he survived, well, he would be put on his path straight to the leader of the League. Okay, so let's go into more detail on how I think that he pulled this off. Roz decided that he wanted Oliver to be the next leader long before this fight took place. This is apparent later on. He knows that he needs Oliver to survive his blade before he can become the next Roz. So he takes some of that delicious Lazarus water and dips his sword into it. What sword would he pick? Well, it's quite obvious, the first one he ever used. Oliver also just gave him the perfect opportunity by challenging him to a duel. Now the fight. First thing that's kind of weird is the fact Roz didn't use a weapon at the start. I mean, he's a confident guy, don't get me wrong, but he's not naive. Oliver is a trained fighter, so it's stupid to not use a weapon. He certainly didn't do it to give Oliver the advantage, no. He wanted those because they were the ones in the Lazarus pit. Next was when he was killing Oliver. He could have just stabbed Oliver through the heart and been done with it, but this was going to be a heck of a fall. So what does he do? He makes sure that Oliver has every bit of health he can. So he stabs him repeatedly in multiple areas. So that's basically the theory. Not too much to it, but I certainly enjoyed writing it and coming up with it. I know there are quite a few plot holes you could find, but overall I thought it was solid enough. Here's another version of it though. So the other version isn't as cool, but makes more sense. So basically, instead of Roz not wanting Malcolm to become the leader and that being his motivation, he just wants Oliver and that's it. It basically gets rid of the whole Roz sees what's going to happen and has to take preparations for it, which is where it starts to get a bit crazy. This theory, though, it isn't as much fun, and isn't that the point of theories? 99% of them turn out false, but they were still fun to make, and I certainly enjoyed making this one. And that wraps up this episode of Arrow April. I really hope you all enjoyed my crazy theories. But if you want to see more Arrow April, in the top left corner right now is the previous episode. In the top right corner is another video you might like. And in the middle is my logo. You can click that to subscribe. But I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.